Because when she feels your presence 100%, you already outpaced 99% of all men on the planet. Because the whole world has disappeared and there's only this room and there's only the two of us, then that is my quest. And when she feels that from you, that's scary. It's awesome. It's attractive. It's crack for women, but it's like, oh, that's scary because I've never felt that before. And so when you're present, everything begins to change. Men build the structure, women create the energy, but we create the structure.
Hello, welcome back. This is Andreea Parc.
And Alexa Dumitru.
And this is Alive Again podcast, a podcast where attorneys and other professionals meet to discuss real life issues and how our decisions shaped our journeys. Our guest today is Jeremy Roadruck. He's a consultant, speaker, and author of Lead Like a King, who spent more than 30 years helping high-performing men reclaiming leadership, not just in their business, but in their homes and families. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for being here with us. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. I'm really excited for this conversation. You guys have some fantastic questions for us to go explore, and I love the topics. I love this is the murky, scary stuff that a lot of guys run and hide from. And it's like, dudes, there's this whole thing blowing up right now with the manosphere crap, and the people, women are going, where's the other alternative? Where's the standard? I'm like, yo, decades been doing this quietly. So let's have that conversation because the world is hungry for it.
So let's get into it. You've been working for decades with high-performing men. And you often say that you've seen so many of them build empires only to lose the people they build them for. Why do you think that happens so often to highly intelligent and successful men?
That was the first question you sent me, and I looked at that and I just busted up laughing because I'm like, yeah, 100%, right? And the big problem for a lot of guys is we're wired, reinforced, trained to solve problems, right? Not to feel the problem. My feelings don't matter. What's the result? Get to the goal, drive through, ignore cuts, scars, damage. Who cares? I produced the result. I won the score. I got the thing. And so we build empires kind of the same way: strategy, execution, control. But love doesn't respond to control. Love doesn't thrive in a space of dominance. Connection doesn't scale like a business, right? Oh, no, it's fine. I'm not going to talk to you or deal with you and your crap for the next 2 weeks because I got to get this thing done. And then we'll go on vacation for 5 days and then we'll connect and it'll be fine. Yo, dude, no. Right. And I've been that way, thinking that if I provided enough, if I fixed enough, I can do damage control, right? And I'll earn the love and I'll earn the peace that I'm looking for, right? But a lot of guys mistake silence for peace. Just because she's not complaining doesn't mean she's happy, right? She may be fine, fracturing inside, near exploding, and all of a sudden you get served with divorce papers. Where'd this come from? I thought we were fine. No, we were fine, fracturing, right? You cannot outachieve the emptiness and the distance between you and your wife and your kids or the people that matter to you. And the tragedy isn't so much that these guys are failing, but they succeed in the wrong things for long-term sustainability. You've got the car, you've got the vacation, you've got the look, and you go home to a place where you're not respected, you're not admired, your family doesn't run to you, they don't come to connect with you because they don't know you. And the biggest problem that drives all of this is guys thinking that's not me, when it is. Because they don't notice. They're too busy working and achieving. The external validation is driving them so hard that they're losing their wife, they're losing their kids, and they don't notice until it's too late. Or until they see a friend of theirs' lives implode in front of them and go, oh shit, and now they got to look at their own stuff, right? And that's why this happens so often, is because you can be financially successful. That's one dimension, right? There's physical, there's mental, there's emotional, there's spiritual, financial, number five, and then there's relationshipal. And that's intimate, personal, and professional. So out of those six dimensions, you may be crushing it. I got my morning routine and I get up and I'm doing my work stuff and I'm dot, 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 dot. And it's like, yeah, but where's your family? Where's your kids? Are they an afterthought? Are they an inconvenience to the importance of work because I got to build the kingdom? And that's not wrong. It's just we got to expand the scope, pull back a little bit to notice who's on the journey with you. Because who are you building this for at the end of the day? When you're old and moldy and you no longer work and you're sitting around and you're retired, who's going to be with you? That's the real question to like start waking these guys up because work doesn't last.
And then piggybacking on the manosphere stuff that you mentioned before, what do you think about these guys that are saying, "Oh, you don't need a wife, you don't need to get married. I'm going to post with all these models and on boats and stuff, and that doesn't matter. All that matters, you can have all the women in the world. You just have to make money and work and you can put them all on a yacht." What do you think about that?
Yeah, you only have so many hands. You only have so much time and energy, right? That is somebody who is massively insecure or massively insignificant, right? There's a great quote from Margaret Thatcher. She said, "Being powerful is like being a lady. If you have to tell people you are, you aren't. Being a man is like being powerful. If you have to tell people you are, you aren't. If you need people to notice you, you need people to know that you don't need them. If you need people, it's like, dude, your wound is showing, right? I can't hear anything else you say because all I hear is a screaming child who never got validated or is so insecure or so insignificant, he's demanding the world pay attention to him. Because when you are genuine and when you are solid, you want to see other people succeed, right? The work that I do, we talk about nurturing the boy, mastering the man, and leading like a king. And for a lot of women and children, like they don't feel safe around certain guys because he's so locked in on mastering the man. Where's his inner child? Is he able to take ownership of his impact? Is he able, does he feel safe? Is he playful? Is he creative? If he can't take ownership, if all he does is react, that is somebody with an unresolved wound. And that no one's going to feel safe. No matter how big we make the outside, how much money they have, they could be a decamillionaire and still be insecure and scared. They could be sitting on nine-figure income and still be insecure and still be scared. And people don't feel safe. And so that consumption, that look at me, look at all the things I can do and all I can, who I can attract, all you're attracting is transactions, which has an older name, horse trading, which has an older name. It's whoring because I'm going to pay this transaction, I'm going to pay this time and this energy. And so they've reduced all relationships to a very, very basic equation, but it's not one that fulfills them, right? In the moment, yeah, they think they have all this stuff, but then they keep craving and craving and craving. So, what is growth just for the sake of growth or consumption for the sake of consumption? It's called cancer. And so these guys are living with a cancerous thought process and they're screaming for attention. They're screaming to be noticed. And so that's what's driving a lot of this. It's dysfunction. And you look at that, and if you're at any level of maturity, any level of integration, you look at that and go, damn, son, who hurt you?
I'm gonna get to your equation soon, but I would like to raise one issue that you mentioned earlier, that men feel if they are providers, they have done their part.
Yeah.
And I've worked with so many people, and from my own experience, and from people that I've heard, our parents said, well, you had everything, a roof over your head, you had food on the table, you went to a good school. What else do you want?
Yeah. Because you go
But
back to the six dimensions, right? It's I hear this all the time when I'm in a I have clients come to me and usually they're in a situation. They're in a shit. And so their life is fracturing. And one of the things I hear is I gave her everything, I gave her everything she needed. I'm like, yeah, but did you? right?
Mm-hmm.
You provided a bunch of stuff. You gave her what you had,
Financial.
but what
Yeah.
did she truly need to thrive, right? Financial is important, right? You can eat with anybody you want anywhere on the planet, but if her love language is quality time, and for you, you got to go do the job, and it's like you have to put your time and energy, and you're gone for days or weeks. I had an opportunity for a program in Qatar that would have paid me $5,000 a week for a year. So a little bit over $250,000. And so, being a smartass, I said to my wife, "Hey babe, could you help me with some math?" And she says, "Yeah." And I was like, if I was gone for a year, but what's 52 times 5,000? And she was like, "Oh yeah, easy, divorce." Explain. You're good with numbers. Explain. Yeah, because if you're not going to be here for a year and we've got a baby who's home on oxygen, like, why am I married? What's the point? Why are you in my life if you're not in my life? And I was like, "You're really good with numbers." Right? So for her, our marriage is worth at least $250,000, but it's quality time, feeling like she has a partner involved in the day to day life, not two ships passing in the night, not I'm going to live my life and you live your life. And so it's I can give you everything I have, great, but what do they actually need to thrive? And I sit with my clients. I'm like, cool, what's your relationship vision? What's her part? What's your part? Blink, blink, blink. What? Okay, we have a problem. You don't have a target that you're aiming at. You don't have it. Your business has a business vision. Your relationship doesn't have a relationship vision? Interesting. Okay, what's your five to thrive? Blink, blink, blink. What are the things you need and want and love to give and receive and your musts and your must nevers? Like, what are your rule breakers? What's your framework? How does she win with you? How do you win with her? Blink, blink, blink. Do you see why there's a problem? You have a rough idea of what your partner needs to thrive. I have a list. I know my wife needs a date night every 7 to 10 days, or she starts to get manic. And it's not a character flaw or a failing or suck it up or more discipline. It is the woman that she is can give only so far before she needs to be recharged. And she needs time, not mom, not wife, just a girl with a boy that she likes doing something new and interesting. And if she doesn't get that, then I know I'm going to get somebody who's going to be sparking at me and kvetching about things because she is depleted. So then it behooves me to have in my phone a list of things to do locally and a timeline of like, what are we doing? Let's I need at least 3 things to do this month to delight her and enjoy time with her. That's not mom and it's not roles and not responsibilities and not rules. And so that's the key is like, what does your partner actually need to thrive? Go back to when you guys first got together. You would do anything for them. But over time, we ossify. Things get into expectations and standards and entitlements and obligations. And once we start moving that direction, that's when the juicy fun stuff goes away. Because you didn't do the dishes. And now I have to punish you or withhold love or yell at you or something. And it's like, when did I sign up to be the king of dishes? Like, I don't understand that. Right?
It's not
Conversation
about the
about
dishes. Yeah.
we had a conversation about laundry, and I'm more particular about how we do laundry. And she said, "Well, I guess you're the king of laundry." And I said, "Well, I guess I am because I care about it more. That's fine, right?" But I've been doing laundry a lot longer than she has because I'm older than her. So, like, is this a fight that's worth like our whole marriage is going to hinge on separating into piles versus throwing it all in at once? Really? And so that providing thing, go back to the 6 dimensions: physical providing, shelter, food; mental providing. Are you challenging her thoughts? Is she challenging yours? What does she like to read? Where is she going in her thought processes? Emotional providing. Are you giving each other chances to be in love with each other and to appreciate each other, be grateful for each other? Spiritual providing. Are you giving each other chances to grow and become something more and deeper and higher for self and others? Are you active in your spiritual life or your faith system, whatever it is? Financial. Are you providing the money to make your life work or not? And how much is enough? Right? And then you get to relationship, intimate, personal, professional. How are you putting time in? Does she get time with her friends? Are you too socially isolated and you're just living in a very narrow band? And I'm not saying any of this is right or wrong. It's the two of you populating those 6 buckets together to thrive. And that's when you provide, like providing, it's all this. Like a lot of guys are like, oh my God, that's so much. Like, I know. That's why you hire me to help you. Because then you don't have to think of it all. You can borrow 30 years of best practices and go faster. Cheat. It's okay.
So a lot of times, again, coming from a woman's perspective, a lot
Please.
of times women will sit down and say, "Hey, I need this, this from you in the relationship." They will lay out their prerequisites. And in one ear, out both of them. So, where does that come in from a woman's perspective of, for example, when they get divorced, right? I told you what I needed. You had all the tools of how to make this marriage successful. Where's the disconnect?
So, did she communicate in a way that he truly comprehended what she was getting across? Was she giving too many berry markers and berry markings? Was she giving too much context? Was she giving too much rationalization, justification? So, dogs bark, cats meow. Here's what I need. Cool, right? But what is that need? So, can you give me a specific example of a friend you've seen that's been in that kind of crap and like, I told him what I needed and he didn't do it?
Yeah.
Can you give a specific?
We can say the date night aspect.
Mm,
That's
yeah.
a very frequent one that a lot of my friends
Hmm.
have, where it's not
Yeah.
necessarily a date. I don't need to go somewhere and, do something, but just to spend some quality time together and to
Right.
just be with one another. And
Yes.
there's no, even though they've may have laid out all of the what they in different ways, sometimes even saying it in different ways, it just
Yeah.
doesn't. Am I making sense?
Happen.
It just
Oh no, I'm
doesn't.
tracking. Right? No, babe, we sat on the couch last night. Do you remember last night? We were on the couch for like 2 hours. We watched that show that you wanted to watch, and I was like next to you. Like that was 2 hours. How did we not spend time together? Like that was quality time, right? Because like we were right there on the couch, 2 hours. I mean, I had to send a couple of emails, and I had to, I got that one crisis I had to check on. So yeah, I mean, I had my phone a couple of times, but I watched the show with you. And see, that's where we get into loggerheads because what was said and what was meant and what was understood and what was experienced, those are four separate things. Because to her, what is quality time? Does quality time mean no phones? Does quality time mean out of the house? Does quality time mean you need to touch me? Because we'd get quality time and we went and watched the opera. And I know you hate the opera, but you came to watch the opera with me. Thank you. But you didn't hold my hand and you didn't get me flowers and you didn't get me a snack. Like, do I have to do everything in this relationship? And now he's going, what the hell? You said you wanted to go to the opera. We went to the opera. But it's the understanding is he's thinking most men are left brain. Left brain can only handle 5 to 9 things. And then what happens when we get filled up? Things fall out and we forget and we lose. Feminine right brain, infinite storage, infinite recall, everything connected, right? And so left brain triangle. So ladies, just so you can kind of gain a perspective for a minute, take your hands, the base of your wrists, and put them next to your head, and then make your hands come together where you only have an inch between your fingers, and then look around the room. Because that's how most men filter. They have blinders on. But for feminine, diffuse awareness. Feminine notices everything all the time, everywhere. Feminine walks into a room and the books are yelling at her because they haven't been dusted or touched or adjusted and they're out of array. The pillows. The pillows are yelling at her. They're accusing her because she hasn't fluffed them in the last 2 hours or 2 days or 2 weeks or whatever. We live in literally two perceptive different frames. And because of that, well, what is quality time? Like, do you really need me to draw you a map? And the guy's like, yeah, actually, right? I've got 17 client calls this week. I've got 4 projects that I'm moving forward, right? I used to do software testing. And when I did software testing, we are testing the current software release for the next 6 weeks. We have 6 1-week tests. I am writing test cases for the next set of software testing that's going to come after this release that I'm running tests on. I'm also writing test cases for the next one. And I'm also having requirement reviews with the tech team for the release 2 releases from now. And that's every single day. And I'm working and I have a manager. My manager thinks we're all salaried, but my manager thinks if you're not working 60 hours a week, you're not working. And I could get my stuff done in 38 hours. So if I look like I'm not pulling my weight on the team, I can get fired. So I need to pull my weight and I have to show up at work a certain way and be seen a certain way. And I'm running 3 different sets of software tests. And I've got to coordinate with 9 other people on my team. And our software is running 2.5 million searches a day back before Y2K, like in 1998, 1999. That's my day. Then I'm going to come home and you're going to rip me a new one because I didn't spend quality time with you, but we sat on the couch for 2 hours and watched the show that you wanted to watch. How am I losing? I don't understand. And it's not that either person is right or wrong in this. It's 2 different filters. So if you're telling me, well, I told him what I need and he's not doing it, cool. Did he understand? Beyond understanding, did he get what's at stake? And this is where it's hard for a lot of guys because they've got so many things running, their brains are full. And it's like, yeah, that's why I'm here, because I'm going to catch that stuff and notice, like, dude, you said this, you just told her she's not important. What? I understand that you have a lot on your plate, dude. I understand the software testing. Like, I live that, right? I get it. But you just told her work is more important than her. That's not what I said, but you did. Because you had how much energy in your work process, how much energy in your deliverables, how much energy in you. Do you put that same level of energy into ranting about how amazing she is to her, or where she can hear you talk to other people? Does she know how much you need her, how much you admire her, how much you respect her, how much you rely on her? Does she feel that on a daily basis? Because if not, she's going to be slowly depleting. And someone or something else is going to fill her up and her focus will shift. And it's not because she doesn't love you, but because she's like a flower looking for the sun and you're not shining any light on her. And so she's going to get that nutrition somewhere. So if you don't like the fact that she's on her phone all the time, make yourself interesting enough that she has to put it down to pay attention because she's excited about you and where you're going as a couple and where's your future. This is how we go back to that very first question. How do we unplug all that stuff? How do we stop losing the empire? By understanding vision, understanding communication, understanding impact, and pulling our families with us to a bigger, brighter future. Not, I'm going to go over here, isolate work, do my thing, and then come back and I'm going to deal with you and you get the leftovers. Does that answer your question about like I told him what I need. Yeah, but was it a need or was it a want?
It all
And
comes
so,
Yes.
go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say it all comes down to the cliche of I can't read your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're talking to a golden retriever, right? Think about a golden retriever's energy, and they're so excited, they're so glad to see you, and I'm so wonderful, and it's so much fun, and it's so awesome, it's so incredible, it's so. And if you've got a dog like that, a guy like that, and then he's like, he needs guidance, he needs handling in a certain way to be in his own true nature, versus, well, I need you to come over here and reach me, and I'm going to be aloof, and I'm going to be up, and I'm going to be off, and I'm going to be distant. And if I stay distant from him, then he will notice, and then he will be like, babe, I miss you. And he's thinking, nah, things are awesome, dude. Like, she's like bright as rain. She hasn't complained about anything in weeks. Because masculine communicates, what's the point? What's the problem? If a guy calls a guy to say, hey, Tom, how you doing? Doing good, Bob. What's up? Nothing. I just called to talk. Somebody owes somebody money, right? Because guys aren't just gonna, hey, I haven't heard from you in a couple weeks. What's going on, dude? Like, that's a rare thing, or it's a very, very, very tight social bond. But most guys don't just call other guys. I haven't heard from you in a while. What's going on? How you doing? Miss you. Like, that's just not. It's you got a problem? Cool. What's up? You got a point? You want to tell me something? I messed something up. Oh, you need help? Okay, cool. And because of that, a lot of masculine communication defaults to coming across transactional. Versus, hey, you got a sec? Can I put something on your radar? Can you bounce? I just want to bounce something off you and get your feedback because I like the way your mind works. Well, shit, yeah. What's going on? And now you can talk about, I'm in the shit, man. I got this and this and this. And look, I'm not asking you to bail me out, but just kind of, I got these 3 things. Which way can I cut it apart? Hey, babe, you need to take me out on a date. Here's your options. You have A, you have B, you have C. It needs to happen by Saturday night. Is there anything you need from me to figure out how to make this happen? Right? Because it's the question for my clients is always the same. Do you want to be right or do you want to get results? If you want results, cool. If you want to be right, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. And, oh, but the mental load, I have to do it all for him. No, not quite. But get him in the ballpark, right? I used to run a kung fu school, and I did that for almost 2 decades. And I would work with parents on how to get their kids to have more discipline. But I would always ask the moms in the intro, be like, hey, mom, is there an area of the house that you find yourself having to clean up way too much and you really hate it and your family really should do better at it and you're sick and tired of talking about it? And every single mom would say yes. And I said, fantastic. Is it okay with you if I give you a solution with one caveat? The caveat is I can give you a solution, but they will only ever get 95% correct. You will always have to come and do about 5% adjustment. Is that okay with you? Oh my God, if they even got halfway there, it would be fantastic. I'm like, cool, I can get you closer than half. I get you 95%. And she's like, okay, tell me how. And I'm like, all right, here's what you do. And I actually put it in my parenting book, but here's what you do. Go and clean up the area. You tell your family, here's what it needs to look like. Here's why it needs to look like that. Here's what's important. Here's what it makes me feel. Here's how I like it. And then you take a picture. And then you print that picture out on an 8x10 and you put it on the wall next to that spot. And then occasionally, if they don't see that it matches, you go, hey guys, 5 minute power clean, make it match the picture, go. And you will watch your family race to organize and tidy and make it match because they have the picture. They know what you want to see. They can deliver the outcome. We're speaking in their language because do you want to be right? And they should just clean. Why don't they should just clean our house? They should just take care of it. That's too big of a chunk for where they're at the moment or what they're carrying or their psychological load or whatever story we want to create. It ain't working. So let's help them to help you. And there's 95% close. It won't be 100% perfect. You'll have to come over and adjust a little bit, tweak a little bit. But damn, isn't it nice to be able to say 5 minute power clean and it happens? You could do this with your kids' rooms. You could do the walls and one day each wall. Do you want to be a writer? Do you want to get results?
It's the cost of happiness, right?
Basically,
Printing out a
yes.
paper costs more than your mental energy that you're expending getting
Totally.
pissed off every week.
Yeah, I had a family, and it was mom, dad, daughter, who's 8, are all auditory communicators, and the son is 5, and he's visual and kinesthetic. So he has to learn by seeing stuff, feeling stuff, doing stuff, and they learn by talking about stuff. So when there's a family problem, the three of them sit down to talk about it, and he's melting in the chair. And it's not because he doesn't care; it's because he can't make the words into pictures in his mind. So he's just like, "Oh my God, we're talking again." But if we don't adjust that at 5, who do you think he's going to be at 15? Who do you think he's going to be listening to at 15? Because he's going to go to where I care about that. That person cares about me. They care about how I feel. They get me. And that's where all these manosphere influencers are getting a foothold is because there's something in their audience that's like hooking in going, "Oh, he's talking to me. He's right. Yeah, people don't care about me. People don't listen to me." And it's like it's not that they don't listen. You grew up 2 different communication channels and no one pointed it out. Because I saw, that's why I wrote Your Best Child Ever is this game worth winning. It's literally the only parenting book in the world with a money back guarantee. I put it on the cover because 17 years of working with families and kids, I saw the same issues over and over and over again. And it's not a lack of
Parents, yeah.
love, different communication systems. And they're talking past each other. Because if they're visual, I can talk till I'm blue in the face, they gotta see it. Or if you have a visual parent and you're telling them about something and they don't see your actions, you could tell me all the things you want, but I don't see you taking action. See, you need to see me. Oh, so me going in my room and doing my homework doesn't count because you didn't see it. I'm going to do my homework in the living room so you can see me do my homework. Simple little things that pay massive, massive ripples over time. But we miss that because we're so caught up in just living. This is why I point this stuff out. So, like, there's points of friction we can solve and fast because we weren't aware of the impact. We weren't aware of the stress.
Your approach, it's very interesting. You say that you can repair a relationship in as little as one session. How do you do that?
Depends on the situation. I will give you the example. I built a 24-hour marriage reset off of a client shift. And so I had a guy late 40s, and I have a quiz for all my clients to take. It's 9 questions, it's a self-assessment. And this guy scored, I think, like 92%. It's like the healthiest guy I've ever worked with. And he's done a lot of personal development, a lot of personal growth. The last 6 years, he's really dug in on himself. He's running a multi-million dollar company, married 19 years, 5 kids, just crushing it. And he's living in a sexless marriage. They've only had sex twice in the last 2 years. And every time he approaches, like, it's just not working, right? And so as we're talking through, essentially he is outpacing his wife because he is so dynamic and so powerful and so capable and so confident. And she's full up to here of her own stuff. And so what I explained to him, like, dude, she's full up to here of herself. She's not rejecting you. There's just no room for you to exist in her heart or in her body because she's got her own load. So what we've got to do is we've got to drain the mental and the emotional chatter, right? Because to her, you're so accomplished, you're so capable, and I'm just a housewife. And he's like, no, she's amazing. She how he respects her, how he admires her, how much he loves her. He doesn't want this to end, but he can't continue in a sexless marriage. Like he's starving and he doesn't want to cheat. He doesn't want to look at porn. Like he's got a lot of discipline. He's like, I'm not going down those roads. I don't want a divorce, but I don't know what to do. I'm like, yeah, cool. So we've got to make it okay for her. So what do we got to do? Well, if she's full up to here of herself, we've got to make it okay for her to be who and what and where she is. Does she feel your admiration on a regular basis? Does she feel your praise? Because to her, every time she's unstable and he's like going into problem solving mode, I'm a problem that he needs to fix. His life would be better without me. He'd be happier with somebody younger. I don't work out like he does. He'd be happier if I worked out. So she's living in all of these shoulds in her head that she's made up that isn't what he thinks, it isn't what he feels, it isn't what he needs, it isn't what he wants. But he doesn't know how to bridge the gap with her because every time he approaches, it's just this onslaught to her and she just backs off and he loses her more and more and more. He can feel the distance. So, dude, first thing, intimacy, we got to understand for women basically exists on 4 levels. You want physical intimacy, cool. Where does that come from? She's got to have emotional intimacy first to allow you into her physical being. She has to feel you in her heart. She has to feel you're in her life and in her world. But for you to come into her emotional world, you got to be in her mental world. You've got to respect her. She's got to feel respected. See, it's one thing to say, I respect you, but do they feel it? Are they in agreement with that? Because you think doesn't mean that's reality. So we got to adjust that, make sure that we're getting the right feedback. But then the mental intimacy comes from social intimacy. Are we spending time together just puttering and living life and doing stuff? That's where the date night comes in because it's like, oh yeah, I like you. Oh yeah, I like you too. Oh shit, I like me when I'm around you. I forgot that person. Like, we need that, not the roles and responsibilities. Like, my wife met me as just Jeremy, not Kung Fu Master, soldier, author, hypnotherapist. Like, she didn't meet all the titles. She met the guy. She's like, he's pretty cool. And then she learned about all the rest of the stuff and was like, well, damn, that's even cooler. But she didn't need all that stuff, right? Because she saw me, just Jeremy. And occasionally she's got to be like, hey, I need just Jeremy here. Like, and that's a very polite invitation to shut the fuck up and get out of my head and like be in the room, put the phone down, right? We go through and go social intimacy, mental intimacy, emotional intimacy, which then leaves room for physical intimacy. Now, your wife is living in her head. She is judging herself, making herself wrong. So you've got to make it clear to her how much you love her, admire her, respect her, need her, want her without pressure. Because if it feels like you're saying this just to get in her pants, you just lost all your points. And so once we understand the dynamic, and then I gave him some communication things to look for, listen for, ways to open the conversation, and how to back off because he's a problem solver. So he can come in very quickly and he can be like, ugh. And it's like, dude, too much, man. You can't press that hard because, yeah, you're going to blow her away. So you've got to know how to hold space, how to be present, be playful, and not have a need to get anywhere with her, right? It's like with cats. How do you get a cat to come to you? Not direct energy, right? Dogs, you got to give direct energy. You're a good boy. You come here. You be a good boy. You want to get a pet? I'll pet you. You a good boy. You got to give dogs directed energy. They love that shit. But cats, you give them that kind of energy, get off me. What the hell's your problem? Because cats are scavengers, right? They're not naturally pack animals, although they can be. So cats are like, be chill, right? Be cool, be safe, be not too triangle, not too pointed. And so it's like you've got to give her that space to like respect where she's at, respect her process, and let her know you're available and you genuinely want to connect. She will probably test you. She will probably try to provoke you. She will probably try to say some things because she doesn't feel lovable. So then she can't believe you can love her when she knows that she's unlovable. So she will say or do things to like poke at you. And when you kind of roll it off and like, babe, you're amazing, I love you, and you just melt into that moment, into that resistance, and walk through her test without violating her boundaries, holy crap, he loves me, he gets me, he wants to be with me, who is this guy? And so it's how do you get to that place of presence and playfulness, and that's the sequence, right? A lot of guys think I got to be powerful. I'm like, no, dude, first you got to be present, you got to be in the room, here and now, time and space, you got to be now, put the phone away, nothing else matters. Literally everything stops because when she feels your presence 100%, you already outpaced 99% of all men on the planet because the whole world has disappeared and there's only this room and there's only the two of us. Then that is my quest. And when she feels that from you, that's scary. It's awesome. It's attractive. It's crack for women, but it's like, oh, that's scary because I've never felt that before. And so when you're present, everything begins to change, right? Men build the structure, women create the energy, but we create the structure. And so when you create presence, then we bring in playfulness because playfulness expresses confidence. Playfulness expresses creativity. And when a woman cannot get a man pissed off, cannot get a man to react, and everything she does to try to manipulate him, he just kind of laughs and goes, I love that. And it doesn't faze him, and he's still present. Oh my God, what is this human being in front of me? And that's the key. Now we can bring in the power, we can bring in the structure, the strategy. All that stuff is easy by comparison. Be here first, be playful second. Do those two things. That's how you crack a relationship open, literally in one conversation. Now, the thing I got to caution my guys is if you've never done this before and you actually do this, she is going to test the shit out of you because she cannot, like, how is this real? You're manipulating me. This isn't real. This isn't true.
Who are
Happening.
you?
Because she's terrified, right? You see me. Who the hell are you? And it's like, I'm the man that we've both been waiting for. I didn't realize I was in my own way. And when you can pass her tests and not get off your game and you can stay present and stay playful and let the love flow, that's what we turn a power couple into a power partnership, which is a sustainable thing. Power couple will tear itself apart because they get locked in providing and who's sacrificing more and who's doing more and giving more and you owe me respect. And they sit there and they end up in their masculine, they're banging dicks all day, which unless they're gay isn't going to work. So we got to get back into the masculine and feminine polarity and the flow. If I fill you to overflowing, you're the most amazing person I've ever met. And if I'm filled to overflowing, I'm the most amazing person you've ever met. Let's get back to that. And what gets in the way of being filled to overflowing, we got to go kill it because it's bullshit and it's a waste of time. And so if I can get when I get my clients to that level of reality, now I can give them the tools and the experience and the frameworks to pivot their marriage. One conversation, they can crack everything open and she's going, what is this? And she has every right not to trust. Look at all the dumb shit you've done. And if he can't take ownership of that, that's where he needs work because he's got to be able to own his impact. I had a guy call me and he's like, I'm in the shitter. What do I do? And I'm like, say more. So his wife's best friend and daughter were living with them because she had a domestic situation, wasn't safe, came to them safe. So he comes home from work and he just pulled, I think it was a 12-hour shift. Walks in the door, exhausted, depleted, opens the door. The best friend's daughter is 8 years old and she's doing a random interesting dance for TikTok. And he's like, hey, knock that off. Don't, it's too loud. Like he went and talked to the friend, like, hey, cut that out, blah, blah, blah. And now the friend pushes back and his wife pushes back and I'm in trouble with everybody. And I don't know what to do and da da da. And I was like, as he explained to me, I'm like, cool, you need to apologize. What? But I wasn't wrong. I didn't say you were wrong. I said you need to apologize. Right? You're paying for the house, you're paying for the bills, and you know the best friend. I'm raising my daughter to be a strong, independent woman, and who the hell are you? And he's like, well, you get the hell out of my house. because your strong, independent ass is living off of me right now. Probably not the best approach. He owned that as we talked, right? But he came in triangle. He came in work mode, and his home is not a place of peace, so he went on the offense, right? And he may be right about standards and about should we sexualize our children at 8 years old? Should we put them online for? There's a whole bunch of cool stuff, but in that moment, that's not how he came in. I'm like, you tell me when you came in, you were calm, cool, collected, loving, understanding, or probably a little bit of gas in the tank. Probably came in a little hot and heavy. I was probably a little hot and heavy. Thank you for the ownership, right? And instead of talking to your wife, you talk to the friend. So you just embarrassed your wife and you made the friend feel unsafe. And now the wife has to split loyalties, support my husband, defend my friend. My friend's in a deficit. I'm going to defend my friend. So now you've got these two adult women who are fighting you in front of the kids and you feel disrespected. Like, yeah, you were disrespected, but you started this fight because you pushed them into a space where they weren't safe and you pushed your wife into a place to divide loyalties. So you need to apologize not for what you did, unless they need you to. You need to apologize for how you made them feel. And you start with your wife. And you go to her and you say, babe, I've had some time to think. And I have to apologize. Whatever's going on with your friend, I'm glad our house is a place they can come and have safety. And I came in like a bat out of hell. And it doesn't matter why. I made her feel unsafe. I made you feel she was unsafe. I made you have to split loyalties. That's not okay. That's not what I want for our house. It's not what I want for her. So I am sorry that I embarrassed you, and I'm sorry that I stressed you out, and I'm sorry I made you feel unsafe. And I'm going to go apologize to her next, but I wanted to make sure we're good first. She's never had an apology like that. He's never taken ownership of his impact like that. But it made sense to him to apologize in this way because it's not about what you did or what you said. It was about how you made them feel in the moment, and you pushed them onto their heels, and they had to fight back because they were cornered. Do you want your wife to just roll over and let someone steamroll her? Oh, God, no. Do you want that for your daughter? Do you want that for this lady? Do you want that for her daughter? No, they need to be strong women. I agree with you. But just understand the way you exploded in. Now, you're depleted. You just worked a 12-hour shift. Did you have a good transition ritual to get your head and your heart back into home mode? Did you? No, you didn't do a bunch of stuff. We can fix all that. But making them feel safe is number one. And the only way to do that is be present to the impact. Be playful, be creative, own. Not angry, not threatening, not, I'm such a dog shit, and like tear yourself down. Because again, if you're tearing yourself apart, you're not safe. Because now it's like, oh my God, he's a weapon aimed at himself. Is he going to kill himself? Is he going to kill it? Like literally, that's where women's minds go first. Be sensitive to that. Be aware of that. Right? And so this is kind of the sequence. So I can pivot a relationship. Yeah, sometimes one conversation, we can blow it all open. Now, there may be some ripples to deal with. There may be some testing. There may be some, are you for real? There may be some restitution. There may be apologies you need to give to heal the rift. And it may take time because it's been years of stuff building up and years of resistance and resentment. But every time you pass her test, the love gets bigger, she relaxes more, she opens more, and you find a new depth and a new height with each other you never even knew existed.
Yeah.
So
So that's how I do it.
piggybacking off of that last sentence, how can we as women and the energetic feminine in the relationship, how can we support our men?
You got to ask him, is there anything you need from me? Right? So Alison Armstrong teaches how to have a great ask, and it's 4 parts, right? And it's brilliant. Number 1, here's what I need. Just what I need. No justification, no story. Remember the thing I did for you and now you owe me? None of that crap. Just here's what I need. Because men triangle. Here's what I need. Number 2, here's what it looks like. Here's what it is. We do this time, this place. Given the time, given the space. And then number 3, this is what it allows. This is what it provides. This is what it makes possible. This is what it does for me. Because that's the real goal. That's the energy underneath the time and space. And that's me talking, not Alison. But the energy is the goal. But you give him the energy, he may have a better way to get there. More creative, something you hadn't thought of. But you got to let him know what this provides or makes possible or allows. What does this open up? Right? And then number 4 is the most important. Is there anything you need from me to do the thing I'm asking? because that question is where he gets buy-in and gets ownership. I need a week. I need a reminder. I need time. I need money. I need, what does he need to do the thing you're asking him to do? And then when he says what he needs, it should be 4 parts. Here's what I need. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it allows. Is there anything you need for me to do the thing so that I can then do the thing? And this is how we get to a clean negotiation between each other for what do you need to thrive, right? And give you an example is there's a guy, he works in fabrication. It's on his feet all day long. And so, if you had it all your way, how would you come home? And he's like, oh, I come in the door, I take off my shoes, and there's a beer right there. And I sit on my couch and I drink a beer for like 10 minutes and nobody talks to me. Because I've been on my feet all day. I've been in the factory all day. I've been on the machines, the noise, just 10 minutes apiece, and I drink my beer. Is there anything you need from me to do what I'm asking? And the wife says, I could do that. I could meet you at the door with a beer. When you come home, just text me when you're in the driveway. Give me 5 minutes to get there. You can sit in your chair. I'll even take off your shoes and give you a foot rub because your feet hurt so bad. I would love to give that to you. For me to be able to do that for you, I need a 30-minute massage twice a week, whole body. A little bit of music, a little bit of oil. Don't have to have sex afterwards. I can go to sleep. But just, I love your hands. They're so strong. And I know you have those calluses. Sometimes it feels good to just have those hands on my muscles and my neck, especially, and my hips. It'd be so relaxing. So twice a week, I need a full body massage. I would be more than happy to meet you at the door with a beer. Now, from the outside, this sounds like 1950s housewife. He expects his wife to be there with beer. But what does it provide for him? It gives him peace. It gives him solitude and quiet for a moment to collect himself. It allows him to be home and forget work and be fully present for the cost of a beer. And she even volunteered to rub his feet. And what does she get? She gets her whole body relaxed for 30 minutes twice a week. And they decided on Wednesday and Saturday. There's no demands, there's no expectations of sex, just pure, unadulterated 30 minutes of him 100% focused on her. Who loses in that dynamic?
Nobody.
Exactly. So, how do we create a win-win? We both get to feel warm, big, and happy. We have to be honest about what we need, what we want, what we would love to give and receive, what are our musts and what are our must-nevers. Those are the 5 to thrive. And how do we build those out? And if your list of needs is more than like a couple of things, you got a problem because you don't really need those things. You just want them, right? I had a client, she needs a good morning text. No good morning text. She's manic all day. She's worried. Is he dead? Did he have a heart attack? Is he mad at me? Are we not together anymore? And she's in her 50s. But that's just her story, right? So she needs a good morning text. Unfortunately, the guy she was with is twice divorced, and no woman's going to tell me what to do. So him giving her what she needs is painful for him. I wonder why their relationship isn't working. It can't work. And I'm not working with him. I'm working with her. So they ended up breaking up because he also lived an hour away, and there was some other things. But that relationship was never going to work because what she needs to thrive, he is unwilling to give. This is the wrong guy to play with. It's not that he's a bad guy. He's a fantastic guy. Strong work ethic, all the rest. He's just got some wounds with the feminine he hasn't resolved yet. And until he does, giving a woman what she needs to thrive is resentful to him, and it activates wounds in him. He probably shouldn't be dating.
Amazing.
Make sense?
I have so many questions for you. Anyway, let's get fast to the formula because I read something incredible that you wrote, and you said that happiness isn't a vibe, it's math. How did you get to that? Something so emotional put into a formula and math.
Because as a kung fu guy, you get hit because you have an opening. You get choked because you have an opening. You get punched because you have an opening. The only reason that the bad guy can do something to you is because you had a gap somewhere. There was a mistake that you made that allowed them in. Because that's the only thing you can control, right? It's not about what they did right. It's about what you did wrong to create the opening. So if I have my hands up, it's really hard to hit me in the face because I'm covered. But if I have my hands here, oh, now there's an invitation. because you see there's a hole, but I'm giving you the hole. Because when you go to this hole, you now, when you extend your arm, your face is open. So I can guide this out of the way. I can undercut. I can overcut, right? I can duck under. There's things I can do because I gave you that opening. So when we fight, we look at how do we create opportunities? How do we create bridges? So roll that a little bit further. In Chinese martial arts, this is the Bao. This represents the dragon. This is the invisible world, right? This is wisdom. Because you don't see a dragon, you see the way the dragon moves. You see the dragon in the trees, in the water as a current, but you can't see the dragon, you see the energy. This is the tiger, this is the fist, this is the body, this is the living world, this is reality. And so this is your belief system, your BS, your story, your rationalizations, justifications. This is your game. This is your action. This is the thing you did. This is what creates impact. The dragon drives, but the tiger impacts. So if you want to be happy, when your shoulds, when your rules match your reality, you're happy. When they don't match, you're in pain. This shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be this hard. It shouldn't be like that. Oh, those sound like rules, don't they? Should. That's not reality. The reality is you got room to grow. You're getting feedback. If you're getting punched in training, you're getting kicked, you're getting choked, you're getting tackled in training, that's information to raise your standards, to adjust what you're doing. How are you existing? How are you operating? Because somebody's taking advantage of an opening. Cool. And that doesn't mean I must kill them. It means I create harmony. I take away the opportunity. Because if we're in harmony, you can't hurt me. You go to attack me, I become the line of the attack. We become connected. You now have to separate from that harmony to attack me again. I'm already in a position to hit you first. It's not about being fast. It's about being aligned with the universe, which is like, you get woo-woo if we let it, but it's very practical, right? And so now, little sidebar, if somebody grew up in a toxic environment and their should is toxic, like, to be in love, I got to make you jealous. So they're only happy, quote unquote happy, when they have jealousy in their relationship. When there's no jealousy, I'm not comfortable with this. I don't know what this feels like. My nervous system is deregulated. I got to create the toxicity because then I feel safe. But I hate the toxicity. But I feel safe because that's what I grew up with and that's normal. And so this is why people get locked in dysfunction sometimes, is because they're happy is a little wonky donkey. And it's like, but does it help you
That's
and others to
familiar.
feel warm, big, and happy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun how that works. Right, because normal is what you grew up with. Normal only exists as a setting on the dryer. It doesn't exist in nature. There is no normal. Normal to the fly is madness to the spider. Normal to the spider is madness to the fly. Right? So whose normal are we tracking here? And so this idea of happiness, when your is and your shoulds match, you're happy. When they don't match, you're sad. Cool. And what are we calibrating on is feeling warm, big, and happy inside. Because anything, any relationship to your past, relationship to your kids, relationship to your intimate partner, relationship to your business partner, any relationship, if it's not warm, big, and happy over the long term, it will fail. It has to. If we don't both get to feel good about this, win-win or no deal. You do a business deal with someone and they screw you over, not doing business with them again. Even more, you're going to make sure other people know they screwed you over so they don't get those opportunities, right? I have some friends that are in the investment field. They're putting together 9-figure deals, right? They build basically off-market private hedge funds. You need $5 million to come in, and then they'll build things around you, and they'll partner in institutional money. These guys are 100% relationship based because the trust that is required. Yeah, you got to be an accredited investor and blah 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 blah. There's the structure of it, but the relation. Do I trust you? Do I get a good vibe off of you? If I don't, I'm not making that introduction, right? And so this is the idea of getting that happiness. How do we get to feel warm, big, and happy? So that's happy and sad is pretty simple. Your is's and your shoulds match or they don't. But then suffering is when you're in pain and you lock yourself in a box and you believe you can never escape. I had pain back then. I have pain now. I don't know how to get out of my own way. I'm going to have pain in the future. So I don't want to play this game. And this is why people exit. They end themselves because they believe they can't win the game. When you could change your belief system or you could change your life conditions, you change both. right? And so once it gets down to that level of brass tacks, it's like this starts to get a whole lot easier because any relationship that's not win-win will fail. So what can I do to iterate and adapt? And then we go into the structure of games. Number one is space, boundaries. For me to win with you, I have to violate my own sense of space. I'm constantly living under tension. I'm constantly stressed, constantly feeling pressed against a wall. That's not a sustainable game. It means that's not a sustainable story. It's not a sustainable relationship. That doesn't make you bad, just bad for me. And now how can I exit cleanly? Right? Because not every relationship is savable. Not every marriage should go the distance because you got together in a place of toxicity and then things happen and it's like, no, we really do. We're better not together. Cool. How can we exit cleanly without weaponization, fault, blame, guilt, shame? How can we own our impact and heal the distance between the two of us? Even if a marriage doesn't survive, at least mutual respect, mutual boundaries can. Sometimes. And sometimes you get somebody who's so wounded, I'm just going to burn everything and I don't care because I want you to hurt as bad as I hurt. So that's basically it comes out of the kung fu. It's this tiger and dragon, wisdom and action, shoulds and ises, rules and reality, belief system and games or stories and games. That's really everything I do is about relationship management, and it all comes and hinges on what's the story and what's the game. Once we get those two understood, because all kids tell stories, no matter how old they are, and all kids play games. And I've worked with people 3 to 94. My grandmother passed at 101 and a half, was still telling stories, still playing games.
We live through stories and games. That's human
100%.
nature.
Exactly.
Yeah, the only thing is to be aware and to somehow minimize so we can do good with people.
Yeah. Well, how can I amplify you? How can I help you to succeed? Because if I fill you to overflowing, who loses? Nobody,
Nobody, yeah.
right? All of humanity is improved by me helping you to feel warm, big, and happy. And then because you feel warm, big, and happy first, you have it available to pour back into me. Win-win. But if I demand you help me feel good, how do I know you have it available? Unless I make sure you have it. Right. And we can go to Bob Berg and talk giver's gain and that kind of stuff. But it's that same idea. I can only control what I give. Right. I have some YouTube videos about relationship dynamics and I have, well, it's got to be both partners. That's like, you're not wrong, but you're kind of like saying water is wet. But can you control your partner or can you only control yourself? So do you think I'm telling you how to control your partner or am I telling you how to control yourself? Because that's the only thing you can do. You can influence them. You can't control them.
Definitely not.
Mhm.
Wow. I mean, yeah, so many questions, but I guess we're
I
gonna
think we
have to
touched on a lot
do,
of them, though.
yeah,
We can always
probably
do a
we're,
part two.
Yeah, we can.
because this kind
Yeah.
of things are good at any time for anyone.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely. But now the last question that I ask every guest is, besides your responsibility and work, what is one thing in your life that makes you feel more alive?
Water slides. It's about the second best thing you can do with your body is a water slide.
That's a new one. We've never heard that one before.
Well, we're 35 minutes from Disney and we got the Pixie Pass and we added the water fountain. So we have blackout dates because of the Pixie Pass because like the weekends are crazy. So don't even go. But we have unlimited access, no blackout dates to the water parks. So on the weekends, we go to the water park and most people don't go to Disney to go to the water park. So it's not super crowded, which is nice. Yeah. But yeah, pop out for 4 or 5 hours because it's 30 minutes up the street, and then play in the water park for half the day, get some sun, go sliding, splash, and then go home, take a little nap, and then have a nice evening.
Sounds like a perfect day.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah,
We're over here
yeah.
in the cold.
Yeah, well, today it's cold here in Orlando. It's 48 right now. Oh, it's so chilly. It was like
Yeah,
90 2 days ago.
it
But yeah,
is.
the high is going to be
Yeah.
62. Oh, darn.
Yeah. Well,
Here,
it's
But I
it
had 40
45.
years of Ohio.
Oh, I see.
it
Yeah.
felt like 21 in the morning here in New York City.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
would take 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've been in New York. We have Kung Fu Family over in Broadway. So I've been to New York in the winter and it is an experience. Absolutely. I'm glad I'm in Florida now.
Jeremy, thank you so much. Such a wonderful conversation. Thank you for your time, for your wisdom.
It's my pleasure. I love to run my mouth.
And tell our listeners where they can find you.
So I am the only Jeremy Roadruck on the internet, which makes me super easy to find. Jeremy at Jeremy Roadruck on YouTube, the Jeremy Roadruck on LinkedIn, and on Facebook. Those are the three places I'm most active. And leadlikeaking.com is the website. So I've got 51 case studies. I've got so much because I've been doing this for so long. And it really is. I have an NDA for my higher net clients because people don't need to know their business. If you guys are in, if there's someone you know in a situation dealing with complex, lots of moving parts, I'm probably a good resource to talk to.
You are such a gold mine for people.
Yes. Been through a lot. I had stuff take me sideways at 5 and 6, so I had to put myself back together. And that took me a lot of interesting places. And now it all serves because there's very, very little that stops me. I don't judge. I made enough mistakes. I'm never going to look down on you. How can we own the impact and how can we play a better game? That's my question.
And usually people who teach from experience, from own personal experience, those are the most qualified.
Yep. Other
Because
stuff.
we
Don't
kicked
recommend.
ourselves in the butt too hard.
Yeah, well, we put ourselves in a position for the universe to crack us open and we're still here to tell the tale. We learned something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Our listeners, thank you for listening. For more conversations and more guests, please subscribe and follow us. Thank you. We'll see you in 2 weeks.